Hello everybody and welcome back with Mindful Pathway for a new video. Today we're gonna talk about loneliness and traveling because those two topics are really related. Like I've been traveling for 7 years and I know a lot of people when I tell them I've been traveling for 7 years, they say, oh wow, but I mean, you're brave. How can you do for traveling for so long and do not feel lonely? How do you do this? And I told them, well, of course, I felt lonely. I'm not a superhero, but I've learned something through 7 years of experience with traveling and loneliness. I learned things that made me today not being scared of feeling lonely or being alone and know that it's like a transient feeling. So I would like to come back to a story. The story of me when I was 21 years old and I went to New Zealand and I started to learn so much about myself and about other people. And at the time I was really struggling mentally. I was like having a lot of stress, anxieties, and I had a deep feeling of loneliness. See, for me, traveling was achieving a dreams, but I didn't know that being so far from my family and friends would make me feel that feeling of misery, of feeling I just want to go back to my country. And it's a very weird feeling when you feel that you left your country for the reason that actually you don't feel good neither. So I spent a lot of time alone with people, distracting myself, doing new things, and everything was great. But still, were there this feeling of loneliness. And at some moment, I was like, Frank, I cannot escape this anymore. I need to really work on that, understand that loneliness. Where does it come from? And what does it try to say to me? And maybe there is a force maybe in life because on my travel, I have been not forced, but just had to encounter a lot of people that were from the the Krishna religion. So basically, you can imagine Hinduism. In the Hinduism, you have many branches, and you have the people that believe in Lord Krishna, which is one of several gods in Hinduism. Most in Hinduism recognize Krishna as a lord among many lords, but in the house I was, it was almost a unique god. Like all day they were doing Krishna, Hare, Rama. And when I arrived, me that come from France, from a very neutral background when it comes to religion and spirituality, I was like, what do they try to invoke? What is this cult? It was interesting. I was very curious about it, but nothing more. And then I noticed something about them, something that was very different from my way of living life. See, maybe at the beginning I thought they were crazy, but at the end I noticed something. They are way more peaceful and enjoy way more life than me. And they are not traveling, they are staying here. So I was like, okay, so what's going on here? Why are they so happy and why am I living so much misery? And they told me after like many weeks living with them and enjoying my time, really spending with them, learning more about like this culture, they told me, Frank, in life, the secret is to be at peace with yourself if you want to be at peace in this world. And so it's nice to travel, but the first travel you need to do is to travel within yourself, to discover yourself. And I found this thing beautiful because I was like, that's true that it looks like as I move everywhere, I'm always trying to escaping something, but what? And they suggested me the practice of meditation, which I talk a lot in many of my videos because I'm so much in love with it. And this was the first tool that helped me to cure loneliness. See, in meditation, you learn to be at peace with yourself. No matter how you feel, no matter what you feel, you are in peace within yourself. And that peace translates into going back to the world after your 20 minutes meditation and feeling that, you know what? An emotion is just an emotion. It doesn't have to be chains around the hands that block me from doing something. There doesn't have to be a heavy backpack that I have to carry with me everywhere I go. No, emotions are just informations. And basically you can decide to either dive into them and try to understand what they have to say, Or you can decide to let them be and understand that sometimes an emotion is just a reflection of old patterns that you had for many years, but might not be that helpful. So I know what you're gonna say. All right. So emotion can be helpful or unhelpful. That's not really helping, isn't it? Well, the goal of meditation is to be aware of your emotion. And by being aware, you make sense of things, when they come from and why they are here. For example, you feel lonely. All right, there is different option of why do you feel lonely. Maybe you feel lonely because you've been traveling for 10 years and you haven't seen your family for 10 years. Well, of course, that loneliness makes sense, and that would be good to take a flight home even for a couple of weeks and see your family and friends. Or maybe it's a loneliness, you left your home 2 weeks ago and you just feel lonely because you feel desperate. Nobody speaks your language here. You are very shy when talking with people. You feel always out of your comfort zone when you have to book a new hotel. Well, good on you. Congratulations. That's a very good feeling to feel. Like if you feel lonely because you feel desperate, understand that's an information for your mind because it's telling you something is new in your life, something is changing, and the mind doesn't really like the change at the beginning. So it makes you feel a strong negative feeling. But know that this feeling is normal and you don't want to avoid it. You have to let it be and let it digest, because you will see that over the next days, the more you are doing what you're doing, the less this feeling will appear. So, meditation, first good tool. Second good tools, and this is gonna be very obvious. You're lonely, maybe because you're alone, but you don't have to be always with your family and your friends to feel not lonely. By the way, you felt loneliness when you were back home with your family and friends at some point. I'm almost sure. So try to understand as well that when you travel, you can meet people. And those people can be a beautiful cure for loneliness, because sometimes we feel lonely because we just want to share how we feel. We want to share things about ourselves. And for that, we need to build new relationships. We need to meet new people if we are far from the people we love. And nowadays, in 2023, traveling is so easy. Really, really, really easy. What you can do in 2023 is like book a hostel and sleep in a room with 4 people or 6 or 8 or 12 or 20. I know it can go very, very big room in hostel, so you can pick and choose the one that you feel more comfortable with. And I would recommend a room of 4 people because that's where you can build better relationships. Of course, every hostel is different, but let's say if you are in a room with 8 people, 10 people, 12 people, not everybody wants to talk with everybody because too many people are around. You don't feel even good when you talk to somebody because you feel everyone is hearing beside you. But when you're in a room at 4, it's easy to talk with the 3 people around you and build good connection with them, even invite them in a bar or going for hikes the next day. So easy. And that's a little bit like the beginning of that loop of not feeling lonely, because you start talking with them, then maybe you're gonna eat with them, or maybe next day you're gonna go for a hike with them. And the fact that you're surrounded with people start to cure this loneliness. I say start because your loneliness can come from many things. If it was coming from a place where I just want to express my feeling, I want to talk with people, well, of course, the fact to be in a hostel will cure this. If you don't want to sleep in a hostel because maybe you like your comfort and you like sleeping in a hotel, then consider more going to some meetups or some expat groups that you can find on Facebook or Internation, a website where people in every big cities can meet and, talk with each other and learn a language or whatever is the topic of the group. A last thing, if you are in the countryside, don't hesitate to do hell picks or woofing, which will makes you sleep at local places. So you will meet families, granddad, grandmas, and childrens. It will be a different dynamics, but I tell you, it's very worth it. Because you learn so much about yourself by hanging out with new people, and especially people of different age from you. You learn so much. So I would recommend you this if you're in countryside, or if you're really brave and something that could be a good exercise for you. If you're in a village, just talk to strangers. Honestly, people see it as a freaking scary thing, but Most people in this world, 99%, are very happy if you talk to them. Like, if they are busy, they will tell you, "Excuse me, I'm busy, I have no time." But honestly, what I've experienced for talking with thousands of strangers, they are always happy to either help, either have a chit chat, you know, be clever, see how people are doing. If someone is running somewhere, well, maybe not, you will not have the time to speak with you. But if someone is just walking down the street, browsing around, you will have more chance to have a chat with them. Finally, so we saw, first, dealing with your own emotion can be a cure with loneliness. Second of all, speaking with others can be a cure to loneliness. And third of all, let's say that you really miss your mom, or you really miss your brother, or you are missing your best friend. Then, what do I recommend? I recommend you to come back to step 1 meditation, closing your eyes, and then that time, when you open the eyes again after 5 or 10 minute meditation, I want you to take a piece of paper and a pen and to write down, why am I traveling? For how long am I traveling? How long it's been I haven't seen my brother, my sister, my best friend, whoever is missing you. And understanding at the end, deep down, why did I started to traveling? Maybe because I wanted to know myself better. Maybe because I wanted to live an experience that stepped me out of my comfort zone. Maybe because I didn't want to have regret at the end of my life. Maybe because of the fear of dying. I know that dying can be at any moment of life, and so it's better to take action now than later. You have many possibilities while you are traveling right now. Maybe you want to discover the world, learn about a language, learn about special food. You want to have some spiritual experience, and traveling helps you to meet other people and like-minded people. Remember that, because once you remember that, you are less there with your family and friends in the past and more here in the present moment with all those opportunities. Understand, you cannot have everything at every single time of your life. You cannot. It's not possible. You cannot be with your family and live an adventure alone somewhere and I don't know, be an actor in Hollywood and have millions of fans. Like, of course, there is like 1,000 lives for 1,000 different people. And it's possible to switch from one life to another, let's say, from one moment of your life to another. But try to focus on what you have rather than focusing on what you don't have. Because I remind you that maybe, you are the type of people that always, even at home, will look at what it doesn't have. So maybe before traveling, you were always saying, "Oh, my life, always a routine, blah, blah, blah. It's not exciting. I want to travel, I want to travel, I want to travel." You've been thinking this for months, for years. And now that you're traveling, you're thinking, "Oh, my past life, oh, my family, oh, my country." So basically, you are doomed all your life to be always unhappy, because rather than that focusing on what you have, you focus on what you don't have. And I remind you that Marcus Aurelius, a very famous Greek philosopher of its time, was saying that it's easy to feel depressed because depression is just about focusing on what you don't have or what is lacking in your life or what is negative. But if you can train your brain and write down and focus every day, remembering why you're traveling, what are the positive things that happen to you, and all the opportunities that leads to where you are now, and that can lead to the dream you want, then you feel happy. Then you don't feel lonely. I remind you, loneliness is a feeling. It's an emotion. It's always coming and going. And if you feel it's been here forever, it's because you've been focusing on that negativity forever. I remind you that meditation is all about letting go. By letting go, you are more present. And by being more present, you enjoy more life in the present moment. And you are less thinking too much about what if and how come I could have been there, or, focus more in the present moment. Your family, your friends, you will see them soon enough, I'm sure. You're always only a flight away. So try to take the opportunities as long as you can, right? This is for if you've been traveling for 3 months, 6 months, a year, all right? After a year, it's totally normal to feel lonely. That's maybe a moment to take a break, go back home, see your family, keep in touch with your friends. Maybe you need a break, 2 weeks, 1 month before traveling again. You know, everyone is different. But the first is this self-awareness with meditation. It will help you to know if what you need is make new friends and enjoy time with other people, talking with other people, or if you need more to deal with yourself, your psychology, maybe your negativities, and try to rewire your brain to focus on what's great, what's positive, and all the opportunities that comes to your life right now. Thank you very much for watching this video. It was Frank for Mindful Pathways. I'm helping people with anything they're struggling right now in life, especially when it comes to traveling. I've been traveling for 7 years and I've been all across the world. So I know how it feels to travel. I know how it feels to have difficult emotions. And I know how it feels when you feel alone and no one understands you and you just wish someone could hear you and help you out. So that's why as well I am here. Don't hesitate to book a call with me. The link is in the description. It's gonna be a free 1-hour online coaching. And from that, we'll talk about how to improve whatever you need to improve and to enjoy your travel as many years that you can as possible and live like me a beautiful life of traveling. I wish you a beautiful day and I see you next time for a new video. Bye bye.